If there was one goal I had in my younger years, it was unironically to become a pastor. Not out of a deep fear of God, or even out of a deep belief for anything, besides drinking fruit shoots, puffing on that stolen zoot zoot, and trying to kiss some sloots. That's not a joke, by the way. I joined a church called Hillsong at 8 years old, simply because I wanted to make out with Christian girls. Hey Dino, do you want to taste my cherry lip balm I stole off my mom? Absolutely, baby. Allow me to just move my Power Rangers lanyard that has my house key attached to it to one side. Then I'm all yours. Baeti. Baeti, Kosi, Baeti, King of Kings. That is how powerful a man's mind is when it comes to their clap drive. I straight up can't remember the date that my grandmother died, who was like a second mother to me, but a song in a language I didn't even understand somehow sticks in my mind because I happened to be making out when it was playing in the background. Back to the hook that reels you in though. I really wanted to be a pastor. Not just any pastor, I really wanted to be like a black pastor from the deep south. Only because the Blues Brothers made it look so sick. You can see the obvious issue in this, but that didn't stop me from doing sermons in my mirror as the great old and good Reverend Dino. I say the Lord has come, good brothers and sisters. The Lord has come. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. The Lord has come today. And so help me by the good grace of God. He is in all of us. Can I get a hallelujah? I was a fucking weird-ass kid. That all being said, part of me, at least, or at very least in my mind, lived within that community. Even though I never said the N-word because I'm an older, soulful gentleman, and I would never sully my lips with that filth. But sadly, some of our younger brothers do. I'd be very pleased for you to meet a Mr. Superstar Pride. It's possible that you have been acquainted with him before. Real name, Caterus Pride, which sounds like his mother pumped an Autobot. He is a Mississippi-based rapper, from the subsect known as Sardis, according to Google. A town that statistically nearly only has 2,000 people occupying it. Meaning, statistically, Superstar Pride is probably the only gangbanger in the entire town. Now, as the good Reverend Dr. Dino, it is incredibly disheartening to see a young brother trapping, just in general. But to see a young brother trapping in a town where everybody probably knows each other's name, that's too much for me to bear. Brings a tear to my eye. Stick 'em up, Caddy Butts. I literally know it's you. No, you don't. Caddy, there's literally only one black family in this entire town. I went to school with you. Little else is known about Pride, aside from his rapping career really beginning in college, where not long after he had his first and only hit thus far, painting pictures. Allow me the honor as good Dr. Reverend Dino Brown to channel my inner Fantino and take what is beautiful poetry and water it down to white boy mannerisms. 2 a.m., the night's still young. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. Ain't no handouts. When I'm quiet, I think about it a lot. Made stay in the feelings. Saving this here pitiful, all these little bitty chillins. Mama, don't worry. You raised a gangster. I'm a survivor. It is a fine song, although for my taste it could do with a few more yes and okays. But it did strike a chord with the community. But sadly, not for the reasons that Superstar Pride would have preferred. You notice anything about Superstar that's not necessarily atypical? In the Brotherhood, we call this a bumpy. And you best believe that people noticed the bumpy within hours of the song's release. And he went actually viral as a result of this. And I don't mean like it went viral like how someone says my video went viral when it hit 100k views, or like when you see something and you reference it later, only for nobody to understand what I suck my own penis means. And they ask you to leave the building as a result. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to make them laugh. They lost their hair, Cheryl, not their senses of humor. Everybody everywhere, or everybody that was at least on TikTok in 2022, was absolutely aware of this man. And if they didn't know his face, they at least knew his hair. As the good Reverend Dr. Dino James Brown, I can safely say his hair was a whack son. His hair is so comically bad that, ironically, the only comparison that we can give is Comic's cousin, cartoons, when they do that shouty thing at people and their hair blows back. No one can ever accuse me of being poetic, can they? Jesus, that was so ham-fisted. Especially for a rapper, and more specifically for a rapper whose whole persona is the street and the hustle. So imagine becoming a laughing stock off your first hit single is a very horrid look. And unfortunately and appropriately, it did in fact cost him very dearly, as nobody has taken his work or him himself seriously since it occurred. Which is truly a crying shame because he is objectively quite talented. Reverend Dr. Dino James Brown Jackson always recognizes real. So you gotta recognize the real fact that look is the factor that makes or breaks you in the entertainment entertainment space, and none more so than the rap game, mind geez. It's no wonder the reason why Drake is treated the way he is. And the only reason he tends to skid by is because he's more or less more R&B, and he's probably literally skidding to the ground with that massive anchor of his he calls his cock. Seriously, look it up, it is a waffle bat. Whereas on the opposite frame, someone like 50 Cent is nothing but respected, because the dude looks like he belongs. If both of them said in their own individual songs, I took it 5 times and I still got back up, only one of them I would question what they meant by that statement. Point being, if I was Superstar and I had all of this talent and I had all of this potential, and I finally got my shot only for it to be ruined as a result of my hair, I would be beyond pissed, and pissed off he was.
A rapper from Panola County is behind bars charged with murder.
That's right. Allegedly, as of right now, he murdered his barber. Allow me to insert my mandatory YouTube guy squeal of, oh, a human lost their life, and it's never funny. Oh, come on, dude, you gotta give me this. At the very least, it's a Greek tragedy, with some very humorous elements in it. He pushed that boulder up the hill only to be undone by his own vanity, and then someone in the background got blasted with cool stone laser eyes. Gotta keep it light. But as I've always said, the devil is in the details. And I imagine you're actually curious whether or not he really did murder his barber over a bad haircut. And the answer is, I think sorta. Honorable shouts out, and I'm gonna have to read it, to I am Joe Stone on YouTube, who didn't actually help me piece this video together, but whose channel I stumbled upon while I was doing research, and I very much really enjoyed the huge laugh I had when I saw his logo in the background of one of his videos. It straight up looks like he's giving neck. Marcus Wheatley, Superstar's alleged victim, the 40-year-old barber was allegedly at his mobile home, located in Panola, Mississippi. On the 19th of July, 2023, Mr. Pride was seen entering Mr. Wheatley's home by Mr. Wheatley's grandmother. Behavior that was incredibly typical, seeing as that Mr. Wheatley's home also doubled up as his place of business because he also cut hair from there, and the pair were also known to at least be friendly, if not friends. It was during this visit that Marcus's grandmother overheard a very loud verbal altercation between the two men coming from the trailer home. Not long after, Marcus was seen fleeing his home, with Mr. Pride chasing him from behind while popping shots, eventually wounding Marcus, who fell to the ground due to his injuries. It was at this point that Marcus's grandmother arrived to the scene, where she witnessed Mr. Pride putting 3 more shots into Marcus's now deflated body, before turning to the grandmother and threatening her, saying the phrase, "Are you going to tell him?" Marcus's grandmother had absolutely no idea what he meant by this, but regardless, Pride continued with his assault before letting off a fatal shot and fleeing the scene in a red pickup truck, allegedly. That was later found abandoned. Not long after, Mr. Pride turned himself into police, where he is currently being charged with first-degree murder. And as of right now, sadly, that's all we know. Because Mr. Pride only just blew up over one song, there's not that much interest in him overall, bar a couple surface-level details. And seeing as I can't just fly over there and question him myself, my hands are unfortunately tied. Which, just so you know, for future reference, I would 110% do if I made some money off this channel. And I can't use my own personal money because my starter wife took away my card, because I'm not allowed to spend money on my hobby. What I can do for us, however, is speculate. As it stands right now, I believe Superstar has made bail, or at least he did, as new music has appeared on his channel as recently as 4 months ago. This doesn't mean he's scot-free, of course. As an eyewitness, his vehicle being found, and what I can only assume was a whole load of DNA, makes the lovely sentence of first-degree murder, or even literal death sentence, if found on Capitol. Oh yeah, baby, Superstar might literally live by the gun and die by the gun, because unlike most US states, Mississippi doesn't have stages of murder. Standard practice ranges from first to third degree. First being intentional and planned murder, second being intentional but without premeditation, aka a crime of passion, and third being murder with a deranged mind, with finally manslaughter and so on. But in the sweet tea of mercy, you either get life or straight up death, no in between, because they only have first degree murder and capital murder. Of course, appeals will depend on factors of the crime, but I don't think the jury will be very keen on his excuse of, he f***ed up my perm. We also don't 110% know for sure if that was his actual reason, because Marcus's grandmother believes that the murder was over a music video and Marcus's refusal to participate.
Strong believes the shooting resulted from Wheatley's refusal to take part in one of Pride's music videos in California.
He wanted Marcus to follow him, and Marcus couldn't do it. He couldn't help him make more money.
Whereas Mr. Pride's father couldn't even comprehend why he did the crime to begin with.
Pride's father could offer no reason for what his son allegedly did.
You know, it's still just something that's got to be looked into and to see what, what all transpired. As of now, it's just so early.
Look, dude, sometimes life is like being a pastor. Named Dr. Dino James Brown Jackson. You gotta keep it simple and just go cool guy. That doesn't spell that at all. Dyslexia really is a handicap. I think personally he probably allegedly killed this dude over his hair. I mean, we have direct confirmation that his barber was the one who convinced him to get the haircut.
It was originated from my uncle, he my barber. He got it. And then he was like, it would look good on you because you superstar. But he said it'll be your haircut. So he's like, let me make you your haircut. And he just made a haircut that fitted me. I didn't know what it would look like before I got up. He didn't give me no draw out, no nothing.
We saw him cut his hair in a new rendition of the song, meaning that all of the jokes and jabs were probably really bothering him. And respectfully, brothers in the community have been shot over a lot less. And a shot at the big time is not a little or less. Truth be told, I have no clue when he will be processed and or charged because these affairs take years to complete. So the only way you'll ever know the conclusion is by legally subscribing to Dino. Thanks as always. Bye bye.